Let's talk
You
about
think
it.
Britney flips?
Let's talk about it. So, I think I know without a doubt what happens, just strictly based off watching reality TV for a long time. So
Look
think
at this
about
guy.
it.
Look at this guy. This guy's
Yeah,
a
I'm a vet.
professional.
I'm a vet.
He's
And then
a vet.
I'm willing to put my reputation on the line here. I really
Okay.
am. Because I feel very strongly about this. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. Make sure to
Like
comment.
and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Keep watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to BachMakers presented by Good Time Media. I'm Wyatt. That's Michael. Today we are recapping episode 10 of season 3 of Traitors. And the time has come, unfortunately. We have to say goodbye to who is now, I would argue, someone who was on my Mount Rushmore of reality TV stars. And I don't care what people say. I don't care what people want me to believe about this man. You can never make me hate Tom Sandoval. And Tom, you'll be missed till we meet again. I'll see you in another life, brother.
Yeah, retweet to that 100%. This is when, I don't know, the first episode where I was just like, we're missing something. We're missing some juice. We're missing some juice. And the juice was Tom Sandoval.
It was always the juice. Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like we really felt that. It definitely feels like that, oh shit, we're almost done with this season kind of episode.
Mhm.
You know, we get that in I feel like last week for the Bachelor, we kind of got that, but for Traitors, it kind of felt like this week we lost Tom, and we lost, who was banished?
No one. Remember?
Oh, that was technically the end of, yeah, but, yeah, it just feels like a really small group when they show the round table now. It's like 6 people. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, and they're so spread out. There's a lot of room between them.
Yeah, it's just that's gotta be weird. So it was tough. You know, I missed Tom already.
Yeah. In terms of strategy, so back up a little bit. Danielle recruits Britney. Again, I brought this up last week with Dylan on our recap. I don't know why they offer Britney the chance to just die. It's like, hey, would you want to be a traitor or do you want to just go home with nothing? Again, I don't understand the thought process behind that choice. It should just be like, hey, you're a traitor now.
Well, no, because it makes for great TV if the person actually just says, no, I want to die. I'm standing true to the faithful. I will die with glory. Because you know Tom would do that. If she went up to Tom and was like, hey, you want to be a traitor or die? Tom would be like, and just like die. Honestly,
no,
he probably would. And it would make for great TV either way. It would make for great TV though.
I don't think anyone would ever choose that. So I mean, yes, it would be fantastic television if someone did, but I can't see a world where someone would. And that like peels back another layer that we've always talked about this show where it's hard to make the money aspect of things matter when it's celebrities who are doing pretty good. I think they're fine. So in terms of like them dying, I guess they're not losing out on much because they're just losing out on the money that we don't really think matters in the beginning, whatever. But Britney's offered that choice. She chooses to become a traitor, and I'm rooting for Britney now, I guess, kind of.
Which Britney also just totally knew it was Danielle. Like at the whole reveal, it was just clear as day. She was like, when she was getting the card, she was like, you know, no way Danielle would recruit me. Like, that would be the stupidest thing ever. And then obviously seeing the traitor in the hood stand there, you can clearly tell, oh, only one person is like that height. Like, obviously that's Danielle. But then she kind of was, the whole reveal and her accepting the proposal seemed a little awkward to me. It seemed like, yeah, I'll do it. Because Britney, I think, knows like, oh, shoot, this is actually terrible. I think I still have a chance to win, but now I have to really change my gameplay and I'm not in the best position, but she definitely knows she's in a better position than Danielle.
Yeah, this game does a weird thing tonally where sometimes it can't decide where it wants to be or like what it wants to do because think about it. Danielle has talked so much about I use big words now.
Totally. Pow.
Come on. We're talking about tone now. So we have Danielle talking about how she's developing these super deep personal relationships on this show. Like, oh, I could never vote for Britney. Dylan and I are super close. Oh, who did she cry over? Wes? She was like, Wes, I can't vote for him or we can't murder him because I love him. Like, it would mean like the end of our friendship. Like, they're talking about super deep connections. But then also, when Danielle is revealing herself to Britney, she does the whole campy traitors voice. She's like, if you choose to accept, I am a traitor. Would you like to be recruited by me? It's like, are you talking to your friend who you say I would never vote for this person, or are you doing the whole traitors like performance? It's a weird line there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's like the F boy douche voice that we do,
Yeah.
but like a different version for being a traitor.
Yeah.
You know, she kind of had her little spin on it where she definitely sees the camera right there and kind of, ups her game, puts a little performance on for the crowd.
Yeah, like I don't know if you can have both. I don't think you can have both sides of that. Either like
Mhm.
this is the most genuine, like personal connection shows, and I care about these people, which we think is a dumb strategy. It's a game. It is
Yeah.
a game you're trying to win. So I've hated that from the beginning. But I don't think you can say like, oh, Brittany's like my best friend in the whole world at this point, and then do that whole performance. But that's just a small nitpick. All right, they introduce the role of the seer. They introduce it. We don't ever find out who is the seer. They do this challenge. We were talking a little bit before the show. Kind of a blur. I don't know how to just describe this
Yeah.
challenge. They're doing a bunch of like, almost felt like Mario Party, where they do a bunch of different mini games
Neat. Yeah.
and then try to develop enough coins to become the seer. Um,
Mario Party. That
Great
brings me
game.
back. You know that one like game where you like shake the can? That's the game I remember. You know, we shake the can and it like goes
I
everywhere.
remember the one where like they have the claw. It's like 1 versus 4. One person has the
Yeah.
claw and is trying to grab you, and you're just running around trying to escape.
Damn, Mario Party 8, man.
Oh,
I need to play
man,
that.
Mario Party rocks. But yeah, that was basically the challenge. And again, I don't remember much from it, but they don't announce who wins, so we don't know who the seer is. Danielle and Brittany were in the lead, and if one of them is the seer, I don't know what the strategy is there, to be honest.
Oh, I think if so, we can talk about. Let's talk about the seer again after we talk about the roundtable stuff
Okay.
because I have an idea of the strategy with the seer.
All right. And let's we'll zoom through to the round table. Basically, the two people who realize what's going on here, Dylan and Gabby.
I mean,
Gabby.
Gabby's the smartest person, which the hero arc for Gabby has just been
Mhm.
on the rise. It's insane because I think first or second recap, I was kind of talking shit to her because she, heard the whole Danielle and Carolyn talking and then just dismissed it right away.
Mhm.
But she brought it up again this episode and said like, "Oh, I still remember that. I'm just hiding, and waiting for the right time to release that information." Genius.
Yeah. Gabby, I think, has hacked this show because a lot of people argue that in this show, it rewards the dumb people because the traders want to keep them around long enough. You want
Yeah.
to get rid of the smart game players early. Gabby has hacked it by being one of the smart game players, but presenting dumb. And doing that has served her well in this game. So now she's made it so far because she's seen as a non-threat. And then at this point, Danielle is terrified of Gabby. You can tell. And Gabby
Mhm.
has Danielle wrapped around her finger. When she was sitting there in the awkward silence, she goes, I'm just going to bask in it. I'm going to milk this awkward silence and not feel any of it. And Danielle is so tense and freaking out. Gabby knows. Gabby knows Danielle's a traitor at this point, and there's nothing Danielle can do about it. That's why at the round table, she's like, "We got to go after Ivor. He's got to go."
Yeah, in the little confessional that Gabby had, she was like, "I'm literally sitting in the room next to a cold-blooded killer." Like I like her how she, kind of dramatizes everything,
Yeah.
and that little clip of her and Danielle sitting by the fire. I don't know why I got like third hand
Mm-hmm.
awkwardness, like just like cringiness. Like I guess that would be the cringe of the episode for me.
But it was a
But yeah,
power play by Gabby. Like it was almost cool to watch. It's like
yeah,
she's owning you right
yeah.
now. It was not embarrassing, but like it was an awkward watch for Danielle because Danielle does not know how to react to this. She's just being called out by everybody.
Yeah. And she can't really do her, I don't know, pity party kind of crying thing that she has done in the past. But yeah, it wasn't her that even brought up Ivor at the round table.
Mhm. Yeah. Well,
Which
one more thing before the roundtable. One thing Danielle, well, two things. Danielle kept saying throughout this episode, and it pissed me off so much. She kept saying, "Oh, finally, I'm in a position in this game where I have somebody on my side." Girl, you've been a traitor with other people this entire time. You've just continually refused to accept it. And then you guys just fought the whole time. You had 3 traitors. At one point you had Boston
yeah,
Rob, Bob the Drag Queen, and Carolyn. 4
one point
total.
there's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like, yeah, you had people on your side. You just turned them against you. So don't act like it was you versus the world this whole time. You had partners in crime. And so,
yeah,
yeah, you have another one now, but that hasn't been the case the whole time.
yeah. And before we get to the roundtable, I have one quote that I think needs to be shouted out, and that was Alan Cumming at the breakfast. Ah, Tom, for
Mm.
once you were actually faithful. Which now knowing, I watched Scandival actually like 3 or 4 days ago. That episode of Vanderpump Rules.
Okay.
The episode's called Scandival.
All right. Do I need to
The-
hate Tom?
Um, no.
Hell
So,
yeah.
well, I mean,
Hell yeah.
maybe you should, and obviously he did a bad thing, but it still was fire TV, and it made me like him even more because it just made for great television. I haven't watched the reunion yet, but it's I think season 10, the last episode. It's called Scandival. You should watch it. It's just an
Okay.
hour long, quick, and then the reunion they tease the reunion, and that reunion I know definitely gets messy.
I might download it for a flight. So I got to fly out on
Peacock.
Tuesday. So can you download it in there?
I don't know if you can download Peacock. That's a great question.
I'll find that out.
I don't know.
That's also a quick programming note. So Traitors finale comes out this week on Thursday. I will be out of the country. So we are going to have to figure out a way to record. It may be a little later. It may
When do you
be
get back?
late Sunday.
Okay.
So we may have to record on Monday and put it out. We could put it out Monday night. If we record like early evening Monday, I'll just turn around, put it out real quick. So it'll be out either Monday or Tuesday of next week. So it'll be a little delayed. Sorry about that. I apologize. Last thing to mention, we've said before that we get to the round table probably 12 times in this episode. But before we get to the round table, Dylan calling Danielle out to her face was such a power move because Dylan's been doing a good job of separating gameplay from relationships. And at that point, it's so narrowed down and it's so heightened that he was basically testing Danielle to see how she would react. That's how I read that situation. They were sitting down and he was like, basically, I'm going to vote for you. Like the evidence is there against you. And Danielle didn't have an argument. Are you serious? Are you serious, Dylan?
But Dylan,
Dylan, are you
I
serious?
love you. You're my person.
Every person on the show is Danielle's best friend of all time. It's Dylan. I can't believe you did this. Like, or why would you do this? No, Dylan. It's Gabby or it's Diver or whatever. So yeah, that was a great move by Dylan just to test the waters a little bit. See how she would react one-on-one before you get to the round table, which I wish more people would do. Like call someone out before the round table just to see how they react. Just to see their reaction and then test that against the group when they bring it to the round table. But let's get to the round table.
Let's get to the round table.
So we have a civil war, basically, a division. We have Danielle. So I wrote it down just so I make sure I got it right. I should have been able to remember this.
I got it.
Danielle, Britney, and Dolores versus Ivor, all voting for Ivor. And then Dylan, Gabby, and Ivor voting for Danielle.
Yeah. Which before they even voted, I mean, the first person to talk, or at least what we see, I don't know how it's edited. The first person to talk was Britney calling out Gabby, which is kind of wild, kind of like starting the talk of like putting attention on Gabby, everything like that. And then it's not until a solid kind of the end of the talking, Dolores is just like, I think Ivor is a traitor. Just out of nowhere. And I kind of got to thinking, and I think Dolores thinks she's a traitor. Like she's like so delusional. I think she's a traitor, even though she's actually a faithful. Like she's so far into it in her head that she's a traitor that she's actually like she's going crazy because there's no other way to that she is just so rogue. She's so rogue. Like Tom was
It's
rogue.
unbelievable.
Dolores is rogue times infinity.
Yeah. Dolores does not know what game she's playing. Dolores is who they think Gabby is.
Yeah.
Dolores is actually
because
who they think Gabby is. And Gabby is 3 steps ahead.
yeah, Dolores is so lost. Like a perfect faithful for the Traitors, though. A perfect faithful for the
Well,
Traitors.
that's why it should be it should be like a red flag going up about Britney, where Britney was initially like, "Hey, we're gonna go at Gabby," and then was like, "You know what?" Once she realized I didn't have numbers and they were going at Danielle, she was like, "I gotta protect Danielle. I gotta vote with the group to try to get Ivor out." So she switched to Ivor. That should be a red flag for Gabby and Dylan. Be like,
Oh,
"Hey,
100%.
evidence right there that Britney is helping Danielle," which I think eyes will be on Britney anyways if Danielle does
Yeah.
go home, because obviously they've been tight the whole game. Let's run through kind of the list of who's left and what their strategy is. Maybe Ivor next. So he's been in the situation where everyone's confirmed he's a faithful for so long. They've at one point during the show, they're like, he's the most obvious faithful ever. Like, we know Ivor for sure is a faithful. Somehow that's changed in this last round table, which I don't
Because
understand the argument.
Dolores literally brought it back to night 1 when Ivor got into a fight with Dorinda and then Dorinda was killed. She literally was like, that's the only evidence I think we have. Something from the first episode, like, honey, where have you been the past, like, 6-7 days or however long it took? Probably close to this time, like 2 weeks. Like, where have you been? What do you mean that's the only evidence? Like,
Yeah.
that got swept on the rug for a good reason because people were like, no, Ivor clearly has been like doing stuff to show he's a faithful.
I think Gabby picks apart Danielle. So you see the two arguments, very weak against Ivor. Gabby puts a great argument against Danielle and basically just says, this is the evidence. We don't, and Dylan said it best, evidence is hard to come by in this show. When you have it, act on it. They have the evidence on Danielle. So the two smartest players left, Gabby and Dylan, are like, yeah, it's Danielle. And maybe Ivor too. I think.
No, I don't think Dylan's one of the smartest people left. I'm sorry.
What do you mean?
Dylan's golden retriever. He's just a golden retriever. He's kind of just following the crowd. Gabby's the smartest game player left, and I'll give it to Britney. I'm sorry, I can't give it to Dylan yet. What has he done? He really hasn't done anything. He's kind of just not been killed.
He got.
Is that crazy to say? Is that crazy to say that Dylan kind of is just hanging around because they like showing
he
little
was on
clips
Bob
of him
the Drag
shirtless
Queen.
working out before they decide who's gonna kill?
He was on Bob the Drag Queen early, before Boston Rob did his execution. He's been playing a good game. Let's not downplay Dylan.
I'm just surprised that people haven't ever once considered him for being a traitor.
Yeah, he really has not been even close to being voted.
Which I'm like, why haven't the Traitors killed him? Like, I think production actually was just like, you're not allowed to kill this guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be the star of the season. You know, you're just not allowed to kill him. That's the only way. Because how have they not killed him? That's wild. But I think the comment by Danielle when she was like, now typically I think a traitor would be like the girl next door. That was the moment when they cut to Dylan and Dylan was like, why would you, like, that's crazy to say something like that. That's when I think she was kind of putting on that little baby voice, not her kind of dramatic, crying, shaking self. People got to notice that that's a switch up of her typical thing. She's getting shot at and she's deflecting. Like, I think it's over for her. Then they have a tie.
So, yeah, they split the vote. And then how it works is they get one final plea, which Ivor, I wish his final plea was better. I wish he just.
I think it's perfect.
I wish he just laid out, look at the evidence. He was just making a pitch like, it was more vague. I wish he was just like, just look at the evidence, this, and this, and then almost pleaded with Dolores. Obviously, he doesn't know Britney is helping Danielle, but it would have helped if he just like channel it towards Dolores and be like, hey, I know you think it's me and you have that evidence, but there's more evidence over here. And if he directed it towards Dolores, maybe he could switch her. And then Danielle, what did Danielle do? She looked at someone.
Danielle, at Dylan. She literally was just like, Dylan. She's like, Dylan, please. And just this emotional, like, I don't know, gaslighting, trying to emotionally gaslight Dylan.
Which let's think about smart play, because Gabby's not going to flip and Ivor's up against the wall. So Ivor's not going to flip. So you gotta try. The only person she could potentially flip is Dylan. So
Yeah,
going
but
at
I
him is
think
smart.
no, but I don't think going at him as your one final plea is the right move. I think your right move is again, like kind of Ivor said, do an evidence based thing and try to be like, it's not me, not just like this emotional. Oh, it's not me. Like even Dylan
But she
said,
doesn't
I'm not
have
voting for
evidence.
emotion.
She's been playing a bad game,
You're
like we've been
you're a
saying
game
for 2
player.
weeks.
She's a game player. She's got to come up with, I feel like, a better strategy than just being like, Dylan, please don't vote me. I'm too pretty. Don't vote me out.
I I don't love the move, but I think it was her only move. I think that's what I would say. I think that's the only move she had because she doesn't have evidence on her side, and Gabby's not going to flip, and Ivor's not going to flip. You almost have to hope you can convince Dylan to vote emotionally, and then
Yeah,
do
I
that.
guess.
So,
So,
but
do you
they
think
let's
do
talk
you think
about it.
Britney flips?
Let's talk about it. So, I think I know without a doubt what happens, just strictly based off watching reality TV for a long time. So
Look at
think
this
about
guy.
it.
Look at this guy. This guy's a
Yeah, I'm a vet.
professional.
I'm a vet. And then
He's a vet.
I'm willing to put my reputation on the line here. I really
Okay.
am because I feel very strongly about this. So the way I see it is, when was the last time? So if Brittany ends up flipping on Danielle, right? That
It's
is
GG's.
that. Well, yes, it's GG's, but that is a unbelievable moment that they would have been building to all season long, where it's been Danielle, focus a lot of discourse on whether she's playing a good game, bad game. Danielle's been a very, very big focus of this game. This would be the biggest moment of the season if Brittany flips on Danielle. That's the iconic moment that you would remember from this season. When was the last time a giant reveal, big reveal of the season, the number one moment, happens at the beginning of an episode?
Never.
Never. It's
Never.
never going to happen. So there is no way they open an episode with a reveal like that because people are still getting warmed up. Like the audience, like, you just turn it on. All right, I'm in. Big reveal at the end of an episode, whether it's a cliffhanger. And I think they don't have that big reveal at the end of this episode. It would have been boring. So they did the cliffhanger and
And
have you thinking all week maybe she flips, but there's no way she flips. She's going to vote for Ivor.
and the editing really makes it seem like she's gonna flip because they showed that little confessional with, oh, Dolores looked at me and kind of then looked at Danielle, and so I think she's gonna flip and everything, and so it made it. And then they showed Brittany's reaction when Dolores like flipped the thing over and it was Ivor, and she was like oh no. But I think that could be maybe taken out of context, and she actually still votes for Danielle. Because if she flips, I mean, if she actually votes for Ivor, because if she flips, she is so toast. She is toast. People are going to be like, "Why the hell did you flip?
Yeah.
Like, are you trying to save face?" But if you stick it through 50-50, I don't know what they do. I don't know what the chance thing is. But let's say Danielle still gets out, but you still vote for Ivor, then I think you still have a chance at the finale. But if you flip, people are going to be like, that's sus. Get out of here.
Yeah, no, I think if it gets to a chance, it comes down to 50-50, whatever it is, Brittany's great no matter what. Because
No, she's perfect.
yeah, so she should just push it to just punt and get to the 50-50 chance and see what happens because she's okay no matter what. If Ivor goes home, great, one less faithful. And if Danielle goes home, hey, I'm the only traitor left and people aren't looking at me as strongly as they would if I flipped. So it makes no sense for her to flip, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Again, people have done dumb things and I've been wrong before, but I am very, very confident that she does not put Danielle's name on that. But I've seen crazier things. Actually, no, I haven't seen crazier things. That'd be the craziest thing I've seen on reality TV. Just
I think it's
from a
raps.
production standpoint, if they do it and open the episode with her flipping.
Well, I think the game would be raps. The finale would, I think, would be very uneventful. Dolores would probably have some crazy story, still thinking it's Ivor, and like be like, no, the game's not over, it's Ivor. And then maybe Brittany wins. Maybe, you see Gabby and Dylan kind of get Brittany the final traitor, but I don't know. But the reunion's the same night, so I think people are kind of going to be tuning in for that anyway. And so if that were to happen and she put down Danielle's name, I don't know. It still might not be the most eventful part of the night if the reunion's hype.
Yeah. I'm very excited for the reunion. I'm very excited for the finale. This is our first finale of Traitors. Again, this is the first season we've watched. It's been a great experience across the board, I think, and I'm very invested in what's to come from this show. But yeah, anything else? Any final predictions? You want to lock it in?
Seer.
I bet maybe Britney. I don't know.
What? So like, I think if Britney wins the Seer, it's GG's, because then she can just be like, okay, confirm, and she gets Dylan, and she says, okay, Dylan, I know you're faithful. Like, let's do this. And so, but then if you're Dylan, you kind of got to know that, like, that's why would you pick me? You know,
I have
like,
I have a perfect idea for Britney. If this happens, this is her path. This is her championship path. Ivor gets voted off in the 50-50 chance thing. Okay. So then Danielle's left. Britney becomes the Seer, checks Danielle, tells everyone she's a traitor. I just checked. This is so hard for me. I've been so close to her the whole time. Put on a show, cry a little bit, be like, we've been so close. I can't believe you lied to me like this. Then get Danielle out. And then there's not a lot of eyes on her, and then she could do Ivor.
No, Ivor's out. You said
sorry.
Ivor's out.
Sorry. Then Dolores or somebody, because then it would just be her, Dolores, Gabby, and Dylan. I like her chances there. I do.
I still think her chances are better if Danielle just goes out in the 50-50, and because then everybody knows she was a traitor. If Ivor goes out in the 50-50, he reveals, because this is the last time they reveal for sure. He reveals, hey, I'm faithful. Peace out. And then everybody's kind of stumped. Eyes are on Danielle, but I think eyes are still on Britney at that point. So I think if Britney's the Seer, I think she goes with Dylan and just like, yo. Or she could go to Dolores and be like, ask the Dolores if she's a faithful or not, and then be like, yo, she said she's a traitor. I knew she's a traitor. Like, let's get her.
Lie. Yeah.
And just lie. And just try to get people to believe her. Because I don't think Dolores would be good at like combating that.
Yeah.
Defending that.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
That could be a strat.
The Seer's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see how that plays out. But yeah, we will have our recap episode out sometime early next week, either Monday or Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then. Peace. Thanks for watching this episode of BachMakers. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider joining our Patreon page, linked in the description below. It's $5, cup of coffee, and it helps support us a ton. Thank you, and maybe we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and from next week on the BachMakers, we shave Wyatt's head off.
Maybe. Only one way to find out.
By tuning in.
That was implied.
Back to you in the studio.
And cut.
Thanks, Julianne.